guys. Hey, Daniel Markham here with Markham Gardens. Glad you guys could join me today. Hey, I wanted to show you guys something. So I'm just loading up a little bit of mulch here for a client, but just got started. But I wanted to show you guys real quick just some of the stuff we've got going here. Guys, look at these mulberries. I don't know if you remember when I planted these things, but they were like, 12-inch cuttings, and they're taller than me now. I mean, I come to here on them. That's amazing. This is the Jan's Best, and then if you look over here, you can see this is the Ozturk or the Siam Jumbo. And this one I'm super looking forward to, but such a healthy looking mulberry. But I mean, you can see how tall. I mean, that one there's, we're looking at about 9 feet tall now. All from a 12-inch cutting this spring. So kind of fantastic. But let me show you guys real quick. I was out here looking in the watermelon patches, and I found a watermelon in here that is just unreal. Now, I don't know if you can see it. I assume you can, but it's that one right there. And granted, there are watermelon, we've got watermelon quite a few different places. But let me see if I can get in here and show you the size of this watermelon. I mean, this thing is massive. And I'm not entering any county fairs or anything to show it, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how big this watermelon is. I mean, this is my hand on this thing. Huge. Cannot wait for these things to ripen up. But I mean, we've got several really big watermelons this year, and several of them that are still growing. Let me show you this other patch that's right over here. So here's the other patch that is over here by the road. And if I climb back in here a little ways, right here by this patch of mushrooms, you can see we've got another big watermelon in here. There's another big one right back here. Just watermelon growing like crazy. And I will tell you, last season I grew watermelon in the other side near the orchard where I showed you guys all the fruit trees were. And I had planted all of them in the tree wells, and I had done a previous video on that too, making gardening a little bit easier and planting things in the tree wells. And yeah, you can see the reflection of me holding my phone, but anyway, I showed you guys planting in the tree wells, and basically it just cuts down on the amount of maintenance and stuff that you have to do, because you're going to water your trees anyway, so you end up watering your watermelon in that area, and it allows you to grow a couple different types of crops without having to do a whole bunch of extra watering and carrying hoses to multiple locations. And but the problem with that is the watermelon vines got so big that they were taking over the fruit trees. I mean, they were growing up fruit trees, was constantly having to pull them down, ended up being a lot more mess. So this year I came out to this field that I've showed you guys multiple times with really thick mulch. And you guys know I am major on mulch. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I think that your veggies and your fruit and all of your plants will do much better if they've got really thick mulch to grow in. And so what I did is I took the seeds out here and I decided to plant the watermelon out here in the middle of all the mulch. And best decision I think I have ever made. If you're in this area, you know that we just received a whole bunch of rain. And when I say a whole bunch of rain, we're talking like 5 days straight of raining. It just rained and rained and rained. And anybody that's ever grown watermelon before, you know that's a nail biter situation, you know what I mean? Because those watermelon, when it rains a whole lot, they're going to fill up with a whole bunch of water, and then you risk the chance of all of your watermelons splitting. And so I was a little bit concerned about it, but guys, mulch fixed that situation. Basically what happens is all of the mulch soaks up all of the rain and basically regulated the water to the watermelons, so the watermelons didn't soak up too much water at any given time. Granted, they had all the water that they needed, so all I've seen is constant growth in these watermelon vines, and the watermelons are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but I've had 0 of them split with 5 days of rain. And I attribute that to the mulch, guys. I think the mulch has basically taken most of that rain and is soaking that up so that it's not overloading the watermelon vines and causing them to split. But yeah, super excited about it, guys. We've got massive watermelons. Let me show you on this other vine here. So this is one of the other vines that we've got. And granted, we've got some weeds and some things growing through here. They're flowering. I say weeds, but, and Tucker loves them. Say hi to Tucker, everybody. Tucker. Hi, Tucker. We've got some other watermelon over here. Now I've got a couple different varieties, and granted, I took the seeds from the watermelon that I had last year. So last year I grew some Crimson Sweets, and I also grew what was called a Carolina, I think it was a Carolina 49 or some number like that. And so what ended up happening is now I've got some that are like, this one is a Carolina Sweet mixed with, or I mean a Super Sweet. It's not Carolina Sweet. I just said Carolina Sweet, but Crimson Sweet. Sorry, guys. Crimson Sweet crossed with that Carolina. And here's the more of a Carolina look to it. But I planted all of those seeds, and I ended up with a whole bunch of different types of watermelon. But you can see, I mean, there's another one right there, just super big watermelons. And they are just all through here, guys. This watermelon has grown up over the top of the mulch piles. It's filled in. I mean, all of this, guys, all of this is watermelon vine, all the way back into there. You can see how much it's covered. But it's just beautiful out here. But again, guys, I know I harp on this every single time, but use mulch. Fill your gardens with mulch. If you don't have mulch, figure out a way to get it. Because not only are the plants doing amazing, but the watermelon's just taking off. Now, I also had this one right here. So this is our southern magnolia that I pulled from the forest. And it had snapped off here when we had all of these high winds that came through here a couple weeks ago. We had the Hurricane Beryl come through. And this thing snapped off down here at the base. Let me see if I can show you guys. Yeah, see right here. Snapped off. I was like, well, crap. That's only, a foot off the ground. But look at this ever since. We got 2 weeks of growth, man. This thing's popping out like crazy. And guess what we're surrounded with? Mulch. So mulch, 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 guys. But anyway, so we've got a project coming up here pretty soon. Let me get out here and show you guys. So this corner of the property, the fence line comes along here and comes along there. And I have got a gentleman that's going to come out, did a little bit of work for him, and he's going to go ahead and help me dig out the pond back here. So from that corner there, we're going to have a pond that comes out. Unsure exactly of the shape that we're going to use for it yet, but we're going to have it come around here as a quarter moon, and we're going to put a pond in over here. We're going to put a waterfall type situation, and just sort of as an attraction. But this is also at the top of the hill for the entire Markham Gardens, guys. And if I peer off back down on here, you guys can see we're downhill. So everything on the property is downhill from this pond that we'll have at the top. So I'll be able to gravity feed irrigation from that pond to basically everything in the gardens, to include what's on the other side of the house and stuff over there, which is the orchard that I've shown you guys. So, but you guys can see over here, look at the muscadines growing crazy. Now I've got to get some poles in the ground. I've got to put in some trellis poles, and that's a project we'll be doing here pretty soon. I'll be having to concrete in some poles and run up a trellis system for this muscadine vine that we've got going over here, because I've got 2 little metal poles set up on this thing just to hold it, and they're bending in the weight already. But you can see this muscadine vine is just taking off. But we've got the figs are doing magnificent. Right here we've got the Olympic fig. In fact, we even got some figs starting on that Olympic fig down in here. So might get some figs this summer after all. And these are a couple of them that I brought from Phoenix, Arizona, that I planted around here, and they're doing really well also. So, but right here is the Chicago Hardy, and another one that I brought from Phoenix. And then right out here we've got the Violet Day Bordeaux. And this one's doing really well, putting out a lot of growth as well, so super healthy. Also, we were able to get the Royal Empress tree into the ground, guys, and they're just beautiful. I mean, these leaves are just gorgeous. They're super fuzzy. I don't know if you've ever seen the undersides of them, but they're just, maybe you can't see that, guys, but it's just super fuzzy, and they're almost like they feel like velvet. But just a beautiful tree. Can't wait for that thing to grow up. It will get nice and tall and shade this entire area. But anyway, guys, I know it's just a short video for today, but I was out here doing some mulch, and you know, thought I would show you guys the watermelon vines and how well they're doing, and maybe show you the mulberries and just this end of the property. You know, we've done quite a bit of work on the orchard side, and I had just started planting some things on this other side of the property and sort of trying to fill it in. And I decided to throw some watermelon, and they took off. So I figured I'd show you guys that. But anyway, lots more videos to come, guys. Lots more updates to come. I'll show you definitely one of the crack opens of one of the watermelon. I've got some footage of one that I split open. I'm probably going to add that to this video as well. Just what that looks like right now. I went ahead and split one open that I hit with a weed eater, and basically it had started to rot on that little corner, and so I went ahead and split it open just to see how close we are to ripe. And I'll add some of that video footage on there just so you guys can see what I saw and kind of what I thought as far as the ripeness went. But all right, so here's one of the watermelons. You can see how big this thing is. I mean, this thing is huge. But this one I accidentally hit with the weed eater early on, and I noticed that there is a little bit of fungus growing here. So I'm not going to give this to anybody, but we are going to go ahead and test ripeness just to see how far along these things are. So I've got my trusty little cutter here. We're going to cut into this and see where we stand. I see red. So we are not quite done. I can tell already we are not quite done. We are definitely turning red inside, but you can see that red is still bleeding into the white. And it should be red all the way up to a point, and then it should be a perfect line that goes across there when it's fully ripe. So we are very close with the watermelons. Let me flip this up here. We are very close. Very, very close. And let me see how sweet this is. We are extremely sweet. You can see here, this should not be bleeding from red to white here. But like I said, this one I nicked with the weed eater, and so this one's just going to be going to the chickens. But it is definitely already sweet. And so that means we are really close with all the rest of them, guys. Anyway, glad you guys could follow along today. If you haven't liked the channel, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, if you would hit that subscribe button for me. And if you liked the video today, if you like looking at some of the plants on random, you know, if you would hit that like button for me. If you didn't like it, guys, go ahead and hit that like button for me. And, you know, YouTube automatically knows whether or not you dislike or like, even if you hit just the like button. So I'm just kidding with you. But anyway, if you could share the videos, guys, with your friends and family, any of the videos that we have, if you see something in there that's helpful, go ahead and share it with your friends and family. We'd appreciate it. Definitely gets the word out there about the Markham Gardens. But anyway, I hope y'all's gardens are doing amazing. I hope they're growing amazing right now. This is, you know, right now we've had so much rain and it's stayed semi-cool and everything is just in full growth mode. So absolutely loving it. But anyway, love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Shalom under the dome.